bring a hurricane into Barbados early on Monday.
Extreme winds of up to 130 miles per hour are now estimated to be in this eye wall.
We got a new advisory that's in it. That new advisory is a significant one because this wind field's going to expand some too.
It already has.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, exactly. It has.
Hello and welcome to the Caribbean. I'm halfway between Trinidad and Grenada at dawn on the day after Hurricane Beryl has come through. It's been a strange old week. I hope you like the film.
Coming up, the hassle of getting in packages, the problems of rolly Caribbean anchorages, and the thing that puts everything else into perspective, being in the path of a Cat 4 hurricane. Monday morning, out running errands. I think it's fair to say the week started in a more mundane way than it finished.
Well, I'm back in Prickly Bay. I can't say this is my favourite anchorage, normally because it's really rolly in here, but it's okay today. But in every other respect, it's a very good anchorage. There's lots of cruisers that come here, so it's quite social. There's restaurants both sides. There's the cruisers net that gives information at 7:30 in the morning on Channel 66, which is really useful. They do a shopping bus from here on a Tuesday and a Friday, so I might take that. There's the Chandler's here, which is over by Spice Marina. Spice Marina is great if you're here. Dane, who runs that place, really helpful. He was going to take some packages in for me if we were away, because I thought they might come while we were away and just store them in his office. But they were delayed anyway, so they've come now. So I'm going to go and meet a man and go and pick them up.
So Dane set me up with his man Solomon here, who gets things out of customs for you, because you do have to do that here. Because the customs rate for you, if you're getting something, is huge, isn't it? 43% or something you were saying?
About 46%.
46%, yeah, I mean, so that's incredible. So you do, if you're having stuff delivered here, have to put yacht in transit, and Solomon will make sure that if it's a boat part, you pay, what do you pay? For boats?
2.5%.
2.5, and what, 6 for anything else?
Anything else.
Yeah, so boat parts, yeah, so the thing I'm having for the anchor is going to be, you know, very low, and the fridge is going to be 6% because they don't consider that as just a yacht part, but obviously much better than paying the full rate. So yeah, just make sure you do it properly if you have things brought into Grenada. You can do all this yourself by getting a C14 from the customs office, but there's quite a few places to go.
You go to the FedEx or the DHL place. The DHL one's a little bit further up the island, but also you've got to go to the post office to pay the fee as well. So yeah, it's a bit of driving around, but having done that, we've got all the stuff. Just got to try and offload it now in this bumpy anchorage. Okay, for those of you who want to know what was in the packages we bought yesterday, well, the big one was this. It's the EcoFlow Glacier. It's a fridge, freezer and ice maker. Fridges, freezers on boats are just really finicky. They go wrong all the time. Our last season in the Mediterranean, our fridge broke down about 4 times. We had different engineers in different countries as we went through that looked at it, normally regassed it, and then it died a month after because it's still got the problem. So yeah, it is a real problem. We finally found a really good fridge engineer, Paul in Lagos, who completely fixed our fridge, but he had to pretty much change everything, including the keel cooler. The freezer at that time was working fine, but he regassed it and tested it overnight for pressure, and it was holding pressure, but I mean, this is like 6 months later. What happens is there's micro holes in there, so it just loses it really slowly in an old fridge. Those bits of copper just rub together and they get these tiny holes in. So yeah, it has been a problem. We're going to have to do a sort of a big job on that one as well to keep it working. So, I mean, the upshot is you can't rely on your fridge freezer. It's good to have a backup anyway. I mean, in fact, it's good to have something with our system, because we've got keel coolers, we can't use them when we haul out. So if you're on the hard and you want a fridge, you haven't got it. In fact, Paul lent us one last time. So let's open the lid and show you what it's got. I will do a full review on this, but you can see you've got the fridge at the moment, the freezer this side. That's the way I've configured it. And the freezer, for the first time, we've got ice cream. Even when our freezer was working well, it was never cold enough for ice cream. This can go down to deep freezer type temperatures. You can see everything on here. We can't see it that well on camera. So if I stick it up on screen so you can see, I press Glacier because that's the fridge. And you can see I've got it at 1 degree. You can see at the bottom left there. That's the fridge temperature, because I've got drinks in there and I can keep them nice and cold. So that's great. In the ship's fridge, it never really got that cold, even on full. So it sort of fluctuates around a bit, but never that cold. So nice to have cold drinks. -15 for the freezer is what I've got at the moment. You can change it around just easily on here to whatever you want to set it to. And it tells you in the middle there what the actual temperature is. But yeah, it seems to be accurately dead on there at the moment, which is good. The ice, you can press make ice, large or small ice cubes. Now it just makes, you know, a small amount of ice at a time, this one. It's not going to make you buckets and buckets of ice. If you want that, you've got to buy a big ice maker, but that's got to be AC. They're really power hungry, those things. So, you know, if you're like us and you haven't got that sort of power, you don't use AC a lot, then you want this. And this, I think, is almost certainly the most efficient DC ice maker on the market that you're going to find. It really does work well for that. So yeah, I'll do some more testing on it, but really good so far. Really like it. Now the other thing I picked up is something a little bit more unusual. It's this. It's from Vision Anchor. It's something they've sent to me for testing. They said, you know, give it a hard life, bash it around, see if you can break anything. They want to improve it all the time in their final stages of production for this. And it seems really, really well made. And what it is something you attach to your anchor. When you put your anchor down, you just clip that on. It's got 25 meters of line. They say sort of 20 meters maximum really when you're anchoring. So pretty much all situations. You can connect this on. It sits there above your anchor, so you can see where it is, but it's transmitting that information back to this. This is the base unit stroke charger, and it's got the little smart sort of bit in it that you take out. So you take it out of the charger and then insert it into the buoy itself. So you put the buoy in with that in, and it will take that information back to this base station, and that acts as an alarm which will go off on its own. It also connects the base station to your phone, so you get all the information on your phone and puts the alarm on your phone. So it's just a more accurate way of having an anchor alarm, because you actually got it on the anchor, not on the boat, so you don't have to calculate that swing and, you know, not have the anchor in exactly the right place, all those sorts of things. And if your battery dies in your phone, it doesn't matter, because you're still going to get an alarm that goes off from the base station. And with all the squalls we've got going through, it might be as well to get it out there. The Caribbean, we are learning, can have some surprises. So we had a couple of rainstorms like that yesterday afternoon, and worse than that, we have them at night. Quite often they come through at night, and of course you have to get up and close all the hatches, so that's a real pain. They go straight through the hatches. I do have the solar panel here sort of across one. It does stop the air going through a little bit, but at least you get some, and I don't have to worry too much about the rain getting into there. But yeah, the butterfly hatch has to be closed, and even the portholes, because the rain just pours off of here and gets blown down here and through. I might actually put some sealant along the bottom of the bug screen there and stop some of that coming through, and I might get away with keeping some of the portholes open, because, you know, it is a problem at night. Once you've closed all the hatches, of course, it gets really, really hot. I mean, people said to us, well, you're going to need air conditioning in the Caribbean, and this far we've got away without it. When we were out at anchor, at least, I mean, when we were on the Hard in Trinidad, I had it on, but now, in times when there were the rainy season, when it rains, I have resorted to it. So I've got it set up here. It's charged by the solar panel outside, so that just comes in, get enough charge during the day, normally if it's a sunny day, to charge it right up, and if there's too much, then I'll just put it to the EcoFlow and charge the EcoFlow. So, you know, that system works quite well, because I can then, you know, as soon as it rains, I just close everything up, start the air conditioning and run on the aircon, and that does us pretty well. While I'm in here, I'm just going to show you where I have fitted that fridge, because it's in here. It's a bit dark in here because I've got the solar panels over the top of the hatches. But yeah, that's in our sail locker, so I can just get to it from here, open it up, So I think that's going to be pretty good, because that does all the drinks and stuff. And actually normally, if Julie's cooking dinner and I'm making the sundowner drinks, I can't get in the galley because she's in the way. Now I can come and I can do it. It's there, it's brilliant. And I've got the same thing here. Got the wire from the solar panels coming down, charges that EcoFlow, or I can plug it to the fridge, or I can plug the fridge straight into the solar panels, whatever's easiest. So yeah, I think that's hopefully going to be a real success. Well, it's wet and it's rolly. It was very windy last night and it blew out the kedge anchor, which is why we're side on and rolling a lot. So I'm not going to put it back in because I think I'm going to give up with Prickly Bay as a place to anchor. It's not a good anchorage in any way whatsoever really in the wet season. So I'm going to move around, try Secret Harbour. It looks more open this bay when you look at it on the chart, but there are all these reefs just outside it, so I'm hoping that they'll break up any swell that's going in there, because you can't get deep into that bay because it's full of buoys. If not, I'll have to go along further, and there are some that are sort of pretty deep down there, but then if I do that, there's nothing there. You know, there's no shops, there's no way of getting out. So I don't know, there's always pluses and minuses to it, but I want to get out of here.
So at this point, it was a toss-up between Secret Harbour and Mount Egmont. That will have some significance later.
Yeah, one more reposition, I think. Pretty shallow here, it's only 6 metres. That's why these waves build up. It's just not shallow enough to be a reef and actually knock them down. Just got to get around the corner, it won't take long.
The reefs here do give good shelter to the whole bay, even if you're not in deep. It does look a bit sketchy to get in though on a standard chart. The Navionics sonar chart really does do a good job of showing you the detail you need to attempt this sort of navigation. So a good anchorage, a good night's sleep, and I'll reward myself with a cooked breakfast next morning.
This is the Grenada Cruisers Net for Friday, June 28th, 2024 from Silver Hills. All right, there's a lot of weather stuff here. Let's be prepared. Going to quote a little bit of Chris Parker, which we're allowed to do during extreme circumstances. The most likely track now is over St. Vincent of this wave. This vorticity hasn't really started yet, but they're giving it a 90% chance of being a tropical low when it enters East Caribbean. As I said, the most likely track is over St. Vincent or just south of St. Vincent, perhaps Beck Way.
Okay, you have to take a look at that.
Tropical Depression 2, which has become organized enough for NHC to initiate advisories, and this is coming toward the Windward Islands over the next few days.
Right now it's a tropical storm. It's getting stronger.
Okay, so it's time to get the kedge anchor up. It was obviously just there to hold me into the swell to make it less rocky, but I don't want this out when the real wind comes. We need to be free to swing into the wind. I will reset the anchor actually as well a little bit further forward so I can get more chain out, and I'll put the vision anchor thing on as well because it'll be a good little test for that. Don't know how much wind we're going to get because they all change which one it's going to be. Most agree that it's not going to come straight through Grenada, which is very good news. It should go north of here through the Grenadines somewhere, probably Beck Way. It'll be maybe 100-mile-an-hour winds by then, so we're going to get obviously something down here, but we don't know what. Again, it really depends on what model you look at to see how much we're going to get. But yeah, I'll just get prepared now, get this in, start getting things away on deck. And I'm actually going to take the kayak out and have a look around the corner into the real hurricane hole down here. I think it's just going to be full of boats. I don't think there'll be any room in there, but I'll have a look just in case. Well, I couldn't pull it out by hand, it's well in there, so I'll just let a little bit of road out front so we can drop back right over the top of it. I'll winch it out. Once the boat gets over the top, we should be able to winch it up, hopefully. There we go, over the top of it now. Yeah, I think that's it, it's come loose. We'll lift it up here, and we'll reset the anchor. That's it, got to the chain. Get the dinghy lifted up. All the mud on it. Or at least it shows it's good holding here. It's good solid mud, that.
A mixture of clay and sand, perfect holding material.
Okay, so I'm going to pull the anchor up and go a little bit further forward than I am at the moment, so I can let out a little bit more chain. I'm going to get about 50 metres out while I'm here, so I'll be sort of close to the channel, and if the wind goes round I will be in the channel, but by that stage it won't matter because no one will be going in and out. Okay, there we go, just got it in tick over reverse. You can see bobbing around. A little bit more out. I don't know if you can see the buoy, it's just in there. So it's actually quite nice to see exactly where the anchor is. Okay, that's 50 metres. I'll let that settle, and then we'll give it a good dig in.
This will bring a hurricane into Barbados early on Monday.
This is the zoomed in satellite loop showing what is now a clear and well-defined eye that is the hallmark, of course, of mature and powerful hurricanes, and extreme winds of up to 130 miles per hour are now estimated to be in this eye wall. And you can see that it is moving towards the west-northwest in the general direction of the Windward Islands.
This will be the earliest we've had a hurricane this far east in the Atlantic on record.
No one thought we'd have hurricanes this early and this far south. But it is now a hurricane, and Grenada does have a hurricane quality anchorage. It's the one I almost went to avoid the swell. The trouble though is that now a hurricane has been announced. The word is it will be pretty much instantly packed with boats, locals and cruisers alike. It is possible to get there in the kayak though, staying behind the protection of the reefs, so it could be worth a look.
Well, I did get the pump out ready to do the kayak, but yeah, it's now pouring down with rain. You get occasional big squalls through as well. It's sort of around that reef, but it'd be about a 2-hour paddle there and back, so I think I'll give that a miss. Gonna watch the Grand Prix instead. It's quite nice and cool here in the doghouse. My feet are getting a little bit dripped on though. Okay, well, it's the calm before the storm. It's a day before it's going to hit. A bit of rain but no wind at the moment, which is good because I'm going to do some clearing up, obviously get rid of all the panels, get rid of the bimini, tie in the sails. I was thinking of trying to remove the headsails. It's a good idea, but doing it single-handed and folding them up and actually getting them inside would be pretty much impossible, so I'll just take the sheets off them and tie it round. You can see the buoy is out there where we are at the moment. We're going to swing a lot in here. It's going to veer big time, so we'll end up over there sort of in the channel. The boats over here next to the edge are going to be in trouble because I boxed this anchorage out when we came in, and it's pretty shallow just past them, and they're going to end up in that, I think. We've got boats this side of us that'll all be fine. We've got space in here, which is good. The reefs that come all the way along here, you can see a boat that's out there. They're coming out of Prickly Bay. Prickly Bay is not the place to be, so I'd be worried if I was in Prickly Bay and had the news this morning that it's moved slightly south. So you've got 120 mile an hour winds in the centre. We're not expecting the centre to hit us. So if it goes where they're saying at the moment over Carriacou, then we're going to get about 70 knot winds, which is bad enough, frankly. So yeah, I better get this. I'm going to go around the front and put another snubber on as well, a thick snubber that I'll tie in, so that'll be a sort of secondary in case that first one goes. But before I do that, I'm going to have to empty the dinghy, which is completely full of water from yesterday's rain. I'll have to get rid of these as well. Okay, change of plan. After careful consideration, I think it's stupid to stay here. I think the seaman-like thing to do is to go to sea. I can get far enough south that I shouldn't get too bad conditions, and it just doesn't really make sense to stay here waiting for the winds to see if they're 60 knot or 100 knot. I'd rather not experience any of that, so yeah, I've got time. I'm going to get out.
So pull in some chain.
Quite handy when you're single-handed, show you when you're over the anchor.
Pull out some sail. And point the nose south.
So that's it. I've just got the Yankee on the first reef. There's no rush really. There's no way of getting into Trinidad before dark. I'm not sure if I'll even go into Trinidad, to be honest. I'll see what the sea state's like. Might just stay at sea, wait for it to go through and go back again. Might be the best option if the seas aren't too bad. I can go through one of the cuts, one of the wider cuts into that bay inside Trinidad. The sea state will be better in there if the seas do get up, but they shouldn't get up that much the way the hurricane's going, because as it comes around, it comes from the south, so it's coming off the land, so it shouldn't build up too much of a swell. Famous last words. But yeah, we'll see. I've got options. But yeah, I think this is definitely the best thing. And if we look at the AIS, I'll put it up on screen. Yeah, you can see most of Grenada is heading south. I think, yeah, that is the thing to do. We did the right thing.
We got a new advisory that's in. That new advisory is a significant one because we have now regained Category 4 strength. The strongest Atlantic hurricane on record in the month of June. Beryl becoming the earliest Cat 4 on record for the Atlantic. With an eye wall replacement cycle, Britt alluded to it, this wind field's going to expand some too.
It has. Yeah, it has. Yeah, exactly. It has.
It's got stronger and it's got bigger. But the fact remains I have 24 hours before it hits, and I can sail the 80 miles to Trinidad in less time than that and should be pretty much out of it.
Well, we're sailing along nicely. You won't be able to see them with this lens, but there are many boats out here, all coming along same way. It's very odd to be out beyond sight of land with so many yachts around you. They're absolutely everywhere. So you have to watch out a little bit at night, keep a proper watch. That's going to be my biggest problem, I think, is doing that. But yeah, hopefully I'll get to the shores of Trinidad and find somewhere to anchor for a bit of rest at some point. Meanwhile, the most important thing, got my little booth in here. I can move this out of the way and come through, because the football is about to start. So, gotta watch that. I've got it on STV. The ITV hub didn't let me go on because it detected that you've got a VPN and wouldn't allow it. So that's something new. Yeah, so yeah, very glad that Scottish TV are letting me watch it. Well, that's it. I'm officially shattered now. But not from sailing away from a hurricane. It's actually been quite a nice sail. It's from watching England play football. I think you probably have to be an Englishman to know the torture that it is watching England play in a tournament. But we did score in the last minute of extra time and went on to win in extra time, so phew. So I've now got all the sails up, which has knackered me, I must admit, because I haven't eaten yet. So I'm going to go and cook myself something to eat. It's now about 5 o'clock, a bit later I think, 6 maybe. Sun's going down. So I've got a bit of nighttime sailing to do and get myself into somewhere where hopefully I can anchor and get some rest in the early hours, or maybe wait till the first light, we'll see. But yeah, food time. Well, I'm sorry to deprive you guys of shots of hurricane force winds, but this is actually quite a lovely sail. So I've allowed myself a glass of wine. Well, it is my birthday, so I'm going to sit here, enjoy the sunset, and get ready for the night sail through. We're halfway there, so it'll be early hours of the morning probably when I get in. I might wait for first light, or I might not. I'll see how tired I am and how easy the navigation through is. I'm going to go further west than we were before, I think, and see if I can sling the hook down there.
To get to the protected waters in Trinidad, you pass through the bocas, mouths in Portuguese. I'm aiming for the furthest one west. I'm sure the more usual ones will be packed. Just before I get there though, I'm buzzed by boats that I've seen before. Remember these? Beckway's ferries. They've all joined the escape fleet and are coming by nice and close to show me they can rock me just as well at sea as anchored in their bay. We do feel for Beckway though. It's a lovely place. Of course Millie will be mostly worried about her favourite dogs. A little bit of fiddling around in the dark and I'm safely anchored. Time for sleep.
So that's it. This is the exact time when the hurricane will be making landfall in the Grenadines. So we really feel for those guys there. Here, there's just a little breeze that's just now come up from the south, being sucked in towards the hurricane. Up until now, it's been absolutely still here and eerily quiet. The only strange thing that's been happening is there's birds up above the trees here swirling around. I think they do that from time to time, but there's just hundreds of them at the moment, so that just seems a little bit strange. It's a former leper colony, actually, this island, so it's seen its fair share of disasters. I'm now going to just sit tight for the rest of the day and probably leave in the middle of the night tonight to head back up, take advantage of this southerly that's been pulled through now to carry me back there in time for Judy to come back on Wednesday. So no rest for the wicked. It's got to be a 3 a.m. start to have any chance of getting to Grenada by daylight. It's going to be interesting to see the sea state. Well, I'm hoping to get back to Grenada before the sun sets tonight. Only get 12 hours of sunlight here in the Caribbean, so yeah, it might be tricky because I've lost the wind and the sea state is a bit odd after the hurricane has been through. But we'll get back for tomorrow, but Judy flies in tomorrow, so that's going to be lovely to have her back. And I do want to see, obviously, how Grenada has fared. I think all those anchorages where we were, I think I would have been fine to stay there in the end because the core just went slightly north. So it's the Grenadines that got hit, all those lovely islands that we've been showing in the last few episodes. So our heart goes out to them. But yes, hopefully southern Grenada at least should have fared pretty well. But I'm not sorry I left. I think it was the right thing to do. And it was an experience. I mean, going down with that fleet of ships. I mean, I was talking to our patrons at the time, and I think I said, you know, it was a fleet that Nelson would have been proud of. But in fact, as the day went on, it really got the feel of Dunkirk, the little ships of Dunkirk. I've actually filmed that reenactment several times on anniversaries, and it really had that sort of a feel to it. It was very strange. But yeah, looking forward to normal service being resumed in the next episode, and the Patreon list will be up to date in the next episode. I think we're a bit behind. Judy's not here, so I haven't been up to update it, so sorry about that this week. But as ever, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.